All right, back to our coverage of the current situation in the Republic of Guinea. We have joining us now an international affairs analyst, Paul Ejime. He joins us live via Zoom from Abuja. Good to have you join us, Paul Ejime. So let's get your reaction to this. Did this come as a surprise to you?
So if you are an avid follower of events in Guinea, I don't think you will see it as a surprise. It was long in coming. What happened was that it wasn't a question of if, but when. And now that it has happened, because the President Condé, who was 82 last year, now 83, had gone ahead to do what so many African leaders are now doing, tinkering with the country's constitution to give himself a third-term mandate. And that is what is the crisis. That people are saying, listen, don't play with they change the rule at the middle of the game. If you have done 10 years, that is sufficient. Give way. But when he started that, it was so controversial and brought violence that about dozens of people died. And when the elections were held in October last year, it was under a very volatile and violent situation. And so here we are, like what happened in Guinea, like what is happening in many, could happen in many other countries where they are not even leaders. These are a ruling class, because the leader should take care of the interests of the citizens. So we see where it goes. If you make a change, positive change possible, you are cutting, violent change.
Perhaps you mentioned the fact that he was trying to alter the constitution for a third term. Perhaps what took place in Côte d'Ivoire was some sort of motivation for him, and it succeeded in Côte d'Ivoire. Both countries are colonies of France. Does it seem here like it's really about the support coming from France for one country over the other?
Partly. I think you're partly right in the sense that it depends on the level of support that you get from France. But for how long will African leaders continue to depend on their former colonial powers? Part of what has given rise there is that perhaps Condé was distancing himself from France. And then they decided to teach him a lesson. One is not sure on this, you can't prove it, but it's all there. The indications are there. Because can you imagine, France has not said that, altered any word. This was the coup leader used to be a member of the French military. Okay, he's married, he has a French wife, and returned only in 2018 to be made head of the guard, the presidential guard. And so if you can see pictures of him, holding, protecting Condé. But today, the protector has now become the captor. He has Condé has been captured by the so-called special force led by Colonel Amadi Doumbouya. So that is what is there for how, the length of and the weight of French's hand in this will have to be examined. But there is no doubt that they have a hand in what is happening, not just in Guinea, not in Mali, but in a number, most of it former colonies.
Absolutely, and that's where I was going. Sorry, just allow me quickly jump in, because it does seem like the former French colonies, whether in Côte d'Ivoire with Alassane Ouattara, uttering the constitution for a third term, it didn't work for him. But what we are seeing in Mali, with the coup in Mali, we are seeing the same thing now in Republic of Guinea. It does seem like the former French colonies are having challenges, and perhaps is it really about the influence of France, or just that these countries, these are isolated cases?
Well, let me say that it's not limited to former French colonies. after all, other places. In the Gambia, I'm telling you that Gambia is also should brace for a similar thing, because what is happening there is that the man who took President Barrow is now aligning forces with the man that was chased out in 2017, that is President Ejime. And the fact that that accord is for him to get elected in December so that Ejime can come back. Gambia is not a former French colony, but you are right. In most French colonies, this is what is happening. But it's a general malady in Africa. This governance, deficiency. I think it cuts across whether the former colonial master does not count, but it is because the French have so much dominated. They have so much influence in their former colonies. That is why most of their former colonies are now imploding and exploding with what is happening now because of the policy that they had. They had what they call policy of association and then assimilation. That try to make Africans think like French. And then they signed up to an agreement, accord of continued colonization, where France will have military bases, and then exercise, and then in terms of the money, finance, economy, the money that they are being used, the currency being used, is domiciled in French treasury. And so you say it is political independence without economic independence. And these are the results.
All right, I wish we had enough time to talk about the celebration we saw on the street shortly after, and the role that the African Union and ECOWAS might play in this, but I'm told my time is up. Thank you so much for talking to us, Paul Ejime, International Affairs Analyst.
Thank you for having me.